During this video, I will be using code words. I won't be using the accepted words for the subject I am going to be talking about, because to do so, and the fact that I am open-minded about what happened the past 2 years, will get me kicked off YouTube and my videos struck and all the rest of it, and I'll be cancelled on here because that's what YouTube is like, folks. So I've got to be very, very careful, and I refuse to subscribe to the accepted rhetoric about this, so I will damn well give you my opinion on this because I have a right to free speech. It's a war that I am currently engaged in, and quite frankly, I think all of you should be engaged in it as well. After all, people fought and died for the United Kingdom to be a free island. So we have a family friend, and she's a nurse. She works in the local hospital, unsurprisingly, and she wrote something on Facebook which, even though we had our suspicions about what was going on, this kind of rang our alarm bells rather more loudly. And what she wrote was that she was exhausted after constantly having to assist in operations conducted on plague patients. And so my other half's dad, who is a very much a question everything kind of guy, simply asked her, why on earth would you be operating on plague patients? And with that, she promptly blocked him on Facebook. And I think this was a very valid question by my other half's dad. Indeed, why on earth would they be operating on plague patients? Why wouldn't she tell him? After all, she was sharing her life and work on Facebook, so surely answering questions about what was happening would have been in her interest. And to perhaps educate people about what's going on, how to prevent getting it, etc., and how they were treating it. But the fact that she blocked him on Facebook for simply asking that question, it just rang alarm bells. Because it is a fact that during the height of the plague, my local hospital was near enough empty. And that's the same with many hospitals around the country. Now, people couldn't go into hospitals to visit loved ones because of the plague, and so normal members of the public couldn't really verify what was really going on. However, stories were trickling out from nurses working in hospitals saying, I don't know why the mainstream media are peddling the fact that we're full to bursting when in fact we've got empty wards everywhere. And so you can see, folks, why people were questioning what was going on. And people were baffled as to why people questioning what was going on were being silenced. And so the whole thing didn't add up. You had the behaviour of the nurses on TikTok, and you had doctors and nurses getting fired from their jobs simply for speaking out and questioning things. So any normal, decent human being would think to themselves, hang on, something's not right here. So the latest thing the mainstream media are peddling about this is that around 60,000 NHS workers are now living with PTSD after battling the pandemic. Now, this video isn't being made by me in order to deny anyone's claims that they have PTSD or have suffered from it. I've had it, I'm battling through it slowly, and it's a battle in my life that I am proud to say I am winning. And I am winning because I sought help. Help was out there for me, and I grabbed it. And I'm using those techniques given to me by my therapist to help manage it. And I feel much better, and everyday life is now easier for me. So if you do have PTSD, then for heaven's sake, please at least try and get help, because it is out there and it does work. And of course, PTSD can happen to anyone, not just squaddies who have been to war, firefighters, etc. Anyone can have it from anything, an event happening to them throughout life which has affected them. It's a horrible ordeal, all right? I can vouch for that. But again, with the NHS, when they are peddling anything about the plague, it just doesn't add up. Because it is a fact there were empty wards in all hospitals. Hospitals were not overflowing with plague patients, because if they were, then the nurses wouldn't have had the time to do these intricate dance routines, which they all posted on TikTok, and there are thousands of them. And also, there were a record number of NHS workers off sick because they caught the plague or because their shifts were simply too stressful. So can you imagine that people like me find things hard to believe when the NHS peddle stuff like this? Because I just find it hard to believe that someone can have a career where for years they deal with trauma victims, blood and guts, vomit, deaths, gruesome deaths, dead children, dead babies, and then having PTSD after having to deal with people who are suffering from which was effectively a nasty cold. Now, I know that sounds really nasty on my part, and it makes me look really heartless, but put two and two together, and you stitch up everything you've been fed by the mainstream media over the past 2 years, and you come up with this. You will, just like me. And no, I don't think I'm being unreasonable or being a conspiracy theorist at all whatsoever. I'm not denying that there was a plague, but I am questioning the facts and figures presented to us regarding whatever the hell it was, all right? I'm just questioning it. I have a right to question it, and I don't think I am putting anyone at risk or, harm simply by asking questions. And I urge you all, everyone, left, right, centre, wherever you are politically, question everything, especially when it comes to the mainstream media and the shite that they peddle. And I'll tell you this, I'll leave you with this, folks, all right? After my time in Ulster with my regiment, 2 years plus an extra 2 6-monthers, everything that happened there, Afghanistan, Iraq, etc., everything the lads in my regiment went through. And yes, quite a lot of them did experience PTSD and they weren't right afterwards. None of them, absolutely none of them, thought about filming themselves making a dance routine. You know what I mean? I mean, these lads, they were sports fanatics. They didn't have the heart to even play rugby, football, go running, nothing. Life just zapped them. And that's what real PTSD does to you. Anyway, that's me rant. Let me know what you think in the comments. And until my next video, please comment, share, subscribe, and Roger Trout.